game with as many numbers and categories and things like that, you would think that the conflict system, resolution system, would be very complicated. It's actually not. The resolutions in the game are quite quickly handled. If somebody is trying to kill you, in fact, let's say you are trying to kill someone, okay, and we also have to find out more about your mounted ability, which probably gives you plenty of things to do. Okay, or if you're saying you are particularly determined or something like that, and it matches your whatever it is, we look at your traits and things. We'll get extra things, but let's just look at it at the basics for right now. So let's look at your prowess. You have a total for your prowess yet?
No, I'm
okay.
reading them.
Oh, I see. Okay, we'll wait for when you have a total.
What is Hamartia?
Let me see. I may not know. I don't know.
Nice.
Well, I mean, it's a rule, and I don't have the blind list with me.
Yeah, right.
So
I'm just wondering in general if you.
No, I think that I do not know. That is a technical term that is not immediately clear.
All right.
I can look it up when I get home and see what he says.
Unhinged.
Unhinged means that you are prone to extreme sudden reactions to things. You overreact sometimes.
Mostly occurring with rage and anger. Anger is easy unhinged trait.
Right.
Yeah, if somebody activates your unhinged blight, you attack somebody you're dealing with right then. Because you just overreacted and struck out at them. Now, it may be interesting to note that if you have the Burned Man ability to disguise yourself, that you could be traveling with them using the face of a normal nomad.
Yeah. That's good. But a white shade paranoia might sound fun.
Especially with a conspiracy background, that works actually.
That.
Yeah.
That is great.
And for the second one, I think just roll on table 1.
Okay.
Why
So
not?
there are 2 dice, as you can see.
Roll 1d12.
What does it say?
I'm just thinking, like, how is that?
Okay. I see. Okay. Table 1, roll d12, and then table 2, roll d6.
Are you supposed to roll all the tables at the same time?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely certain.
Or do you choose one of the tables to roll on?
No, I think.
As long as the table 3 in the grey one is very similar to those in the whites.
Let me take a look at the sheet. Oh my God! If you are Black Shade, not only do you get new blights, but if you could choose here Fallen Prime and actually shift your prime to one of these things. Yeah. So that doesn't sound good at all. So you're looking at your numbers?
Yep.
Okay. Let me take a look and see if it can help us a little bit with the blights. Otherwise, I may have to wait just a little bit.
That's sad.
Here we go. Same blight. If you want to blight from the darkness or the demon's embrace, choose one of the tables, roll the blight randomly according to the chart. So you would think that the chart would be transparent, but let's examine the chart.
Yeah, I see that
table
2
1
has very few options.
Yeah, exactly. Table 1, table 2, or
Table 2 is more.
I'm not entirely certain. I think you do. It may be because you can repeat this for many types of abilities and things, that you start with table 1 and then the second time you do it table 2, the third time you do it table 3. Looking at, because the ones on the ends there are quite extreme.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that, I think that I would just roll on table 1.
Yeah, all right. Table 1. Yeah. So that will be a...
What? Oh, you're rolling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why not?
Yes, of course. It's your blight.
12.
Oh, yes.
That's a high hand.
You have the White God's blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good thing?
I have no idea, but
All right.
It's a white god's blessing.
Mm-hmm.
The white god's blessing.
Probably means
With
you
the
should kill an
white-
entire species.
Yeah, obviously white, can also be associated with,
Pure?
Pure.
which also means death.
Which also
It
means
does.
you should
Yeah.
burn everything around you for any
We will
reason.
see. I was looking at it. The blights are a whole chapter that I did not print out, which is why I'm saying I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
And the reason is that it was pretty thick, and I will make sure you know what that means.
Yeah, right.
But as I recall, I did read it earlier today. I read a lot of things, so I recall it had something to do though with what you were talking about, very Asian whiteness of death kind of stuff. So yeah. So then the last thing, if we don't mind, if you have any energy left,
Yes, I have.
Now we are going to deal with these things called your books. And what's important about the books is that we are literally creating the situations of play. And that's why it was important for you to make your characters. Because I realized that if I made your characters, then you wouldn't know what to do with your books. You wouldn't have it in your guts. And if you don't make your books, if I make up the books, then that's what the game does not do. I'm just waiting for. Okay,
What's a book?
Okay, it's composed of 3 parts, and one of them is the easiest. It's called Your Destiny. We are debating, he and I, right now, about whether he should keep Destiny in the game or not. It's a little bit, your characters are so doom-haunted, and the progression of the characters is so chancy, depends on what happens, that to come up with a Destiny is perhaps writing too much ahead. But perhaps if you think in terms of a situation, is it your destiny to go and rule your home tribe? Is it your destiny to die in a ditch? It is your destiny to ascend to godhood. It is your destiny to love a demon. Something really pretty specific and intense.
So it's kind of, I'm destined to find a man who killed my father.
Yes, you could do that.
Yep.
But you also have these other things. One of them is called a path, and they are things that will help you become a better person. So if you think that finding the man who killed your father makes you a better person, it might not. Then let's say it wouldn't, right? To seek him is like sort of bad for your soul.
Yeah.
So then you would make it one of your concessions. You have 2 paths, 2 concessions. So then the point is that concessions are situations in play. The destiny is not a situation in play. We are just kind of looking ahead.
Yeah.
It may become books later, but right now, you say, seek the man who, find the man who killed my father. Make that a concession.
Yeah.
And there are some things that can happen. I will come up with situations during play where I can say, well, this concession is in play, and that path is in play. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
And then the player chooses what crops up on the character next. So you will be helping create the situation for play. If you use lots of concessions, you're going to build up certain kinds of power for your character. If you choose lots of paths, you will be building up lots of recovery for your character. So the way that you will regain your recoveries is not just, oh, I have a day of rest. It's, what have you done with your paths? So if you want your character to not recover as much, but gain in power quickly, do lots of concessions. If you want the opposite, do lots of paths. And you're the one setting up the situations for your character. And I am giving you choices. I'm thinking about my preparation. I'm saying, why not? Something big, like a big clue or some kind of information or some kind of confrontation about the guy who killed your father.
Yeah. But it's not the destiny. Destiny is more of
right. Destiny
a
is
dream.
Yes, exactly. It may not be what your character wants even. It might be what everyone. Right. Like I said, to die in a ditch. Right. You could. So destiny. See, that's why destiny is perhaps a little problematic for this game. Maybe we should think about paths and concessions first on their own, And then let destiny be kind of not be a guiding thing.
Maybe destiny could be something that it's after a couple of plays, something that's
I think that's
become
not a bad idea. That's not a bad
more
idea.
of determining it at the start.
I agree. Paths and concessions, though, are important.
Yeah.
And for you, you are actually going to have to put 3 vices down. It's 3, and they will go with a path or a concession. So of your 4, 3 of them have a vice associated with something habitual and bad that you do.
All right.
You will have 1 vice. You
Okay.
will have 2.
Because of
Right.
the shade.
Correct. And the important thing is that vices are actually kind of useful. So this is a game that says, if you go to the bad, you're going to become a lot more, like if you do a lot of your concessions and if your soul darkens a lot and you get lots of vices, you actually are bulking up in power faster than someone who is not. They are recovering a lot better than you, but you are bulking up in power.
Kind of the whole.
Well, and not only that, but you see now what I mean by existential fiction.
Yeah.
It is perfectly okay for your character to come to a very bad end in fictional terms.
Because I had an idea, because I was with the
Self-defeating is
Yeah.
one very important thing that can happen to your character. Your own shittiness
it was something that
will do
struck
you in,
me.
but it makes you very powerful.
Yeah, because I was with you in the deep-rooted conspiracy, and I was thinking my destiny should be I will burn in a fire.
Oh, you sure?
And I did not do it there, so I'm very concerned over why.
Right.
That could have been a very fun.
Sure.
But I think destiny shall
Yeah, well, let's wait a little bit.
wait a little bit.
Yeah, especially because we can certainly, if you put things in your paths and concessions about the conspiracy, then that means we will have situations in play available to you to develop the conspiracy.
Yeah.
So do you see now how important this mechanic is for play? We will do what is called an act using our books. When the act is complete through the plot and what happens, then everybody rewrites their books. So do you see that's kind of useful for paths and concessions anyway?
So for every session,
No, every act. The plot that we develop through the course of play
so
based on all of these things.
Yeah. So if we have, it could be just 1 session or 10.
Yes.
And it
It
depends.
seems with this kind of depth of complications, I don't see an act being completed in 1 session.
No.
But it could.
It's a possibility.
There's also some pacing during play about rests and things, and so recovery and its pacing is a big part of play for this game. And there's only one way to learn it, and that's to do it.
Okay, so 2 path, 2 concessions, 1 vice, 2 vice, 3 vice.
Correct.
And the vice are not part of the path of concessions.
They are. Each vice is connected to one of them.
I can choose to have the vices on both my path, or 1 of each, or both my concessions.
Correct.
Okay. And the path and concessions, they do not have to be linked with each other.
No.
But it's...
Look at everything on your sheet. You have the backgrounds and everything to play with. And remember that they are best understood as situations. If you say, a demon appears to me, as a concession perhaps, it's a situation. It's something that has happened. So that's the best way to look at a path or a concession. You could say, I fall in love. For you, that would be a fascinating concession, wouldn't it? It's the last thing your character, would do to, who knows? That depends.
If it's someone I can use to stop civilization from taking my home,
Right. There you are then.
then it could be useful.
True. So, but think of them in terms of your character's own, what we may think of as their admirable qualities as a person, the things you respect about them, and that's up to you. So a path leads you to develop those things. A concession is something that stops you from doing so well at that today. Now, for a character as screwed up as yours, just remember that you do get to make 2 paths.
Yep.
Try to find the good in the character and think about what paths could bring that out in a scene.